Okay, let's get this out of the way right now. You're not boring. I don't care if you think your life is too normal, too quiet, too nothing to see here. If you're working with clients or navigating real estate deals, juggling family, showing up every day in this business, you are absolutely not boring. Welcome back to the Social Edit. I'm Sam Palmieri, and today we're tackling one of the biggest mindset blocks I hear from agents. I don't post because I'm not interesting, and I'm calling bullshit, and I'm going to prove it to you. So let's talk about the lie we tell ourselves. You're not interesting enough to post. This is one of the most common lies we tell ourselves, and it's based solely out of fear most times. But here's the truth. Marketing is not about being the loudest person in the room. It's about being most relatable. Think of your content like a coffee order, right? Everyone has something different. Some people are espresso shots. They're bold, dramatic. They give you this boost of energy. Others are a calm iced latte with oat milk. Reliable, chill, still caffeinated. There's a reason both are popular. The comparison trap convinces us that we have to be more entertaining, more put together, more something. But the most successful content is often the most honest. So, for example, take my posts. Just recently, I posted a carousel about it being okay if your dreams changed. It was basically the story of how I dreamed of being an NYPD officer, and then once I had my daughter, I moved out of state. Things just sort of shifted for me. I wasn't continuing police work in North Carolina. I then pursued another avenue, marketing, and absolutely fell in love with it. It was something I just threw together because I was trying to stay consistent at posting and I needed to post something that day to stay top of mind. I put it together in Canva, I thought it looked decent, okay, and I posted it just to get the algorithm to keep me relevant. Little did I know how well it would do. Almost 3,000 views, 300 likes, 13 comments, 34 shares. Now, that might not seem like a lot, but compared to some of my other content, it was doing pretty well. Biggest impact it had were the people that were messaging me, basically telling me that they needed to hear that. They were going through their own similar situation. It helped them feel less alone. It helped normalize what they were going through. And this little post that I didn't even really care about, really, had a much bigger impact than I thought. And that is what is so cool about social media. It allows you to connect with people in ways you wouldn't normally be able to do on a daily basis, whether they're not in your vicinity, just not someone you would talk to all the time, whatever it is. It allows you to connect instantly. And that's the purpose of social media. Now, let's take it into your own business. Say you're a single mom who also happens to be a realtor. Maybe you share your journey of motherhood or what it's like to be a single parent along with your real estate content. Maybe someone reaches out to you saying that they also know what it's like to be a single mom or a similar experience they had in motherhood, and you make a connection, you chat with her, share some experiences. Now, conversation ends there, or maybe you're just continuing to follow up, like liking her story or liking her post, whatever it is. Now, a few months later, she needs a realtor. And she remembers that conversation she had with you. And she remembers that you do real estate. There is a much, much, much better chance that now she uses you as her realtor because she has a connection with you. She feels like she knows you. I always like to say that you're too close to your own life. You live your life so up close, you forget how valuable your everyday moments are to others. To you, prepping a buyer for an inspection is Tuesday, but to your audience, that's a learning opportunity. And let's take this even deeper. Here are some real examples of boring real estate moments that are actually great content. Lockbox struggles, fumbling with a stubborn lockbox in the rain. Most people have been there, not yet, but most people understand that. You see those funny reels on Instagram taking off. What about you could turn it into a story about perseverance or preparation or just laugh at yourself with a funny voiceover? Answering a client text. You can screenshot a real client text. You can take their name out of it, of course, that says something like, oh, is the fridge included? And you turn that into a carousel explaining what's included, excluded from the sales, how to include certain things that you want, and the due diligence process. Maybe you're driving between showings. You're taking a 10-second video from your car, maybe at a red light, and talk about how to prep mentally between showings Share a funny moment, a sweet moment from a recent one that you had. What about that house that smelled weird? Talk about things that turn buyers off and that sellers don't think about, like pet odors or strong candles. Maybe you had a vendor interaction. Did your lender, inspector, or contractor drop some knowledge that you didn't know about today? That's content. That one quirky house, the one with the spiral staircase in the laundry room? Share the weirdest listing you saw this week. You showing your messy desk or talking through how you navigated a tricky showing might feel insignificant to you, but to someone watching, that's real insight. They're getting to know you and how you operate. Remember, what feels routine to you might be mind-blowing to someone who's never bought or sold a home before. Real estate obviously feels normal to you because you're doing it every single day, but your everyday is someone else's curiosity. Going back to relatability, people don't connect with perfection. They connect with vulnerability. You don't need to be polished or scripted or on brand every second, and you honestly shouldn't. What you need is honesty. No one's hiring you because you had a perfect Canva template. I promise, no one is. They're hiring you because your post about crying in your car after a showing made them feel less alone. Maybe you're talking about the guilt you feel about wanting to be successful in your job while also wanting to be a present parent. Do you think you're the only person that feels like this? Absolutely not. It humanizes you and it makes you relatable. Let people in. Let them see behind the curtain. Show your heart, not just a highlight reel, because that's what it is. Everyone says that Instagram, TikTok is all just a highlight reel. It's not real. So be the real that people are looking for. They don't want to see, these gorgeous $1 million houses because they don't have that budget. Show them what you're seeing every single day. Show them what it's like a day in your life, because you're closer to them than some influencer that's globetrotting, So let's break down how to do that. Post a photo or a video without over editing it. Share a client win, but also what it took to get there. Talk about a mistake you made, own up to it, and what did you learn from it? There's so many different things that you can say that are just gonna help people relate with you. Find your story. But here's a content formula that never fails. 1, set the scene. 2, share the emotion. 3, deliver the takeaway. 4, end with a call to action or a CTA. But I know it's a lot. Let's walk through an example together. A see, no over editing. A buyer ghosted you 2 weeks ago, right? And they came back ready to buy. So first, set the scene. I haven't heard from them in weeks. I thought they moved on. Add the emotion. At first, I felt frustrated. I poured so much time in, but then I remembered, boom, takeaway. People need time, and sometimes silence means uncertainty, not rejection. Call to action. Have you ever been ghosted by a lead? What did you do? Comment below. So now let's take it into my personal life. So for example, if I was going to make a post about something from this past week, I'd say, I had the most hectic day, starting with a content shoot at an empty lot where I didn't bring the right shoes, to going into a marketing presentation for a new project we were working on. I was so exhausted and still had to do one of my one-on-one calls when I got home. I was so tempted to text her, reschedule, but then I realized I needed to practice what I preach. If I set something in my calendar, whether it's a content creation time, marketing meeting, or a coaching call, I need to stick to it. I just needed to remind myself of my why. Have you ever felt so tired that you just wanted to cancel the rest of your day? Do you give yourself a break or do you stick to the plan? Comment below. Boom, there's my content. It could be a picture of me just sitting at my desk recording this, a still from this video. It could be a headshot picture. It could be a picture of my computer, whatever it is. There's your caption. These small stories are what make people trust you. And I know we've heard this before, but here it is again. Stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone's chapter 30. We have to talk about comparison because it's killing your content before you even get started. That agent you follow with the perfect videos and the branded reels, they started somewhere too. And spoiler, they still question if their content is boring, even now. Don't let their highlight reel stop you from sharing your reality. Everyone starts with awkward videos and low engagement and that cringy first post. And you think of it like the gym. You wouldn't just skip your workout because someone else is lifting more weight. You start where you are. To this day, I will look back at some of my early videos and cringe. Even when I look back and listen to these episodes, I sometimes cringe. It is what it is. I have spent my entire life comparing myself to someone else. The cool girls in high school, the badass female detectives I used to work with, the corporate higher-ups that I used to strive to be like. And to this day, there are still plenty of people that I find myself comparing myself to. But when I see this, I need to remind myself to stop comparing and shift my mindset into a learning one. So, what are they doing right? Where have they made mistakes? What can I take away from using them as a role model rather than someone I want to be exactly like? No one wants copy paste. What makes them successful? What traits do they emulate that I admire? Then, once I shift them into this role model entity, I'm no longer comparing myself to them. I'm happy for them. I force myself to live in the gain rather than comparing myself in the gap. If you don't get the reference, please, please, please go pick up a copy of The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan. We're actually going to have a book club episode next week on this bad boy, and I'm so excited. It truly, truly, truly changed my mindset and how I see things. So, highly recommend for your next read. But here are a few plug and play ideas for what to post when you feel stuck. One thing I told a client this week was, a question I get all the time is, and then the answer, what I tell a brand new agent today. A mistake I made and what I learned from it. You don't need a ring light, even though I have one, or a trend. You just need to speak from experience. And pro tip, if you give good advice in a text or a voice note, that's a reel. Just say it again on camera. Now, to help you save time and so you don't have to sit here and just think about all these content ideas at once, I would say keep a notes app, like your notes app list of content ideas as they're coming to you. Film 3 videos in one go, change your shirt like 6 different times. You can also repurpose. A story can become a reel can become a carousel can become an email. There's so many different ways for you to batch create your content. We'll do an episode just on batching, but I want to wrap up because I told you guys I want to keep these short and sweet. You're not boring. You are just too used to your own brilliance. People don't need perfection, they need connection. Someone out there is looking for a realtor who feels like a real person, not someone on Selling Sunset. Someone they can trust, someone they can laugh with, and someone they feel safe asking questions to. Let that person be you. Now, here's how to live in this truth every single day. Write down one win and one lesson at the end of each day. You'll have a multitude of topics to choose from when you're looking for your next content. Celebrate your small moments, even the messy ones. Talk to the camera like you're on FaceTime with your best friend. That's what people want. And my challenge to you this week is to post one thing today that felt too small, too boring, or too normal. Just one. And then tag me at Sam Palmieri so I can hype you up. Because showing up is the content. If this helped you, leave a review, follow the show, and come hang out on Instagram. We've got way more coming your way, so I'll see you next time on The Social Edit.